We still cannot get over the fact that AC Milan are the newly crowned kings of Italian football. Winning the Scudetto may have come as a surprise to some, but it was a long time coming, even though people only had time to talk about Inter Milan and Juventus. Stefano Pioli has done something no one has done in nearly 11 years, and we really need to talk about it. Meanwhile, Barcelona are happy to let go of Frenkie de Jong, but it appears that the Netherlands international has his reservations over moving to Man United. But Erik Ten Hag is not the sort of man who will give up so soon. Real Madrid are inching closer to completing the signing of Aurelien Tchouameni, and we have some details about the move which you really need to listen to. And it appears that an Arsenal striker is all set to leave the club this summer and is likely to return to France. So there you have it. We're going to cover all of these stories one by one, so how about you sit tight and subscribe and get ready for your daily dose of football. An early exit from the Champions League meant that AC Milan had no distractions. However, it was never going to be easy for Stefano Pioli's men, who had Inter Milan breathing down their necks for the most part of the campaign. So tight was the race that everything was decided on the final day of the season in a game against Atalanta, who might not have had a great campaign but are still a very dangerous side. And this is where our chief protagonist comes in. Olivier Giroud has made it a habit of making himself count when it matters the most. The veteran striker scored a brace to help his side to a historic win. He was also ably backed by young Rafael Leao, who provided 3 assists in the first half. On the final day, the Rossoneri needed just a draw to lift their first Scudetto since 2011. Following the final whistle, the celebrations were wild as you would expect. This Milan team might not look like a side that would be conquering Europe, but Pioli has done something with them no other manager has done since 2011. The Lombardy Giants are a team where everyone is playing for the cause. Zlatan Ibrahimovic might be their talismanic leader, but his absence due to injuries this season never impacted their performances. The Swede has always been a valuable member of the dressing room, and his mere presence is enough to show the younger players what they need to do. At the same time, Paolo Maldini, a club legend, is their sporting director. They have made some really good signings, haven't bloated their wage bill, and are once again doing the same thing this summer. Funny thing is that there was a time when Milan was set to sack both Pioli and Maldini 2 years ago. In fact, Pioli was seen as a stopgap solution, while there were discussions taking place with Ralf Rangnick. We have to say that Milan dodged a bullet and persisted with a man who arrived at the San Siro with a CV that doesn't necessarily inspire confidence. Nonetheless, Pioli was allowed to do his job, backed by the board as much as possible, and players somehow responded to him. If you look at Milan's results this season, a lot of them are low-margin victories. While it might show that this team struggles in front of goal, it also showcases that they're very good at grinding out results, which is something of a hallmark of teams that win league titles. This summer, Milan have already started making their moves. Divock Origi is set to be announced, while other moves are in the works. In the midst of that, there's a change in ownership, which means that Pioli will have substantial funds to work with. All in all, AC Milan went for a strategy after many false dawns, and are now in a position to become a leading light in Italian football, and maybe in Europe if they continue to improve. We talked about it. Our discussions will remain top secret, but he is someone I met in the national team, a good person, and I hope he comes. This week, Eduardo Camavinga revealed without too many surprises his hope of seeing Aurelien Tchouameni join Real Madrid, and each passing day pushes the French international midfielder a little more towards the Spanish capital. Real Madrid are about to reach an agreement with AS Monaco for the transfer of the 22-year-old player. After a first offer of 80 million euros including bonuses, Real Madrid made a second offer which was much closer to Monegasque requirements, namely 100 million euros. Today we know a little more about the details of the operation, even if in Spain they obviously do not want to mention these amounts. Real Madrid made a written offer committing to an amount of 80 million euros plus 10 million euros in easily attainable bonuses, plus an amount corresponding to the tax on the capital gains made by Monaco on the transfer of Tchouameni. As a reminder, the Principality of Monaco is considered by Spain as a tax haven. The Spanish tax authorities claim because of this special status, there's a 19% tax on any capital gain realized by the Principality's club on the sale of a player in Spain. This means that the operation is going to cost Madrid more than 100 million euros. This hasn't shaken them up, and they are confident about the deal. Liverpool are out of the race, and PSG are studying other options. We will continue to discuss with Alexandre Lacazette until the end. It is a wish for us. We will continue as long as it is possible to have it. A few weeks ago, Jean-Michel Aulas took advantage of a press conference to reaffirm his ambition and his intention to repatriate Alexandre Lacazette, free at the end of his contract with Arsenal, for whom he scored 4 goals in 30 appearances in the Premier League this season. According to information from L'Equipe this Thursday, the boss of Olympique Lyonnais was right to believe it because he probably achieved his ends. The Sports Daily indeed tells us that the French international striker has agreed terms with the Rhone Giants. Lacazette's return to Lyon is imminent. The striker, who left for the Gunners in the summer of 2017 for a cheque of €53 million, was convinced by the project and his teams. He should take on the role of a leader in a team that will give pride of place to its academy graduates, such as Castello Luqueba, Malo Gusto, Maxence Caqueret, Bradley Barcola, Ryan Cherki, etc. At Arsenal, Lacazette was making around €10 million a year. The player knows that he cannot earn that much at Lyon and has indeed taken a pay cut. Where will Frenkie de Jong play next season? The question should not even arise, since his contract at FC Barcelona runs until June 2026, and Xavi seems rather satisfied with his performances. Yes, but here we are, the Catalan club is gripped by major economic problems, as we all know, and the sale of the Dutch midfielder could offer them some financial safety. In recent weeks, there has been talk of a transfer to Manchester United, or even Paris Saint-Germain, to bail out the coffers. In a press conference while on national duty, the former Ajax star spoke about his future. "I used to be reckless when asked about other clubs, but it's over. Have I been called? I can't say anything about it, but I prefer to stay at Barcelona. Of course, I understand, but I haven't heard anything from the club's management, so I guess nothing is concrete, or that no agreement has been reached yet. There's no need to worry about that," de Jong said, before insisting that he is already at a great club and wants to continue for as long as he can. De Jong also understands that things have changed now that Erik is at Manchester United. The two men have a great relationship, but the midfielder has preferred to remain coy so far. So what do we feel about this move? For starters, we have no idea what Manchester United are really up to. As always, not a single signing has been made. Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Juan Mata and Nemanja Matic have already left, and there will be a few more departures. The Red Devils are always linked with every player under the sun. But even if their interest in de Jong is concrete, chances are that they'll be met with refusal because de Jong still has a lot of time to have a future at Barcelona. Xavi wants him to stick around, and it might come down to that.